Being that it's 5:30, I will call to order the Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, February 25, 2026. First is the approval of the agenda. I do have some changes to the agenda. First, I would like to propose to table item B, the Economic Development, Marketing, and Outreach Committee report. And then secondly, I would like to add, it would actually insert number 8 would now be closed session. And this would be regarding to hear a complaint brought against an employee.
You need to make a motion?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to make the amendments. Second.
Second, Larry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the January 28, 2026, probably should correct that year on there, meeting minutes.
I'm sorry.
Are there any changes, corrections, or comments on the meeting minutes? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Motion with support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is public comment. If you'd like to comment, please step to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Tim Kearney, Miller Drive. I'm here tonight regarding the formal complaint that was recently submitted. This complaint stems back from 2019 through current, involving the Disciple presentation to the public of Comstock Center Riverfront redevelopment project, but not limited to political persuasion, harassment, overreach of contractual duties, misrepresentation to the board members, other boards, and foremost the community, misuse of tax-based funds, false representation to a credible foundation to apply illegally for a grant without written agreements, resulting in credible foundation awarding a matching grant illegally, a direct violation of the Fifth Amendment. Potential loss of funds regarding earnest monies that we have provided you proof of check was written under a false pretense to the township. We ask that the board read the complaint entirely on record in public session. We ask that the board investigates the 10K earnest check and provides you with confirmation investigating the treasurer wrote the check with proper protocol, and if this monies were retained back to the same account. The board makes a motion to vote to remove the DDA director effective immediately, or the director resigns effective immediately. The township board implements an oversight reporting structure. The DDA board will be overseen directly by the township board moving forward. Board puts forward proper legal definition in session of a government pursuing eminent domain. The Fifth Amendment, the board confirms on record the public session that there is no more legal pursuit under eminent domain of any of the 3 parcel owners pertaining to this illegal development project. The board understands that a grant was received illegally by the DDA pursuing eminent domain without a written agreement, and will confirm this is an illegal grant, has been returned to the credible foundation on record in public session. The board looks at the current DA director and the zoning assistant positions and all others that may have participated in this wrongful doing, and recognizes we are asking for those people to be immediately voted out of all duties and or resign, and their township salaries be revoked. Board reports back in public session its findings for new policies and procedures moving forward as they find standing within a reasonable time frame of 30 days. The board will remain open and transparent to citizens and all other township boards regarding all matters as they move forward. This board will also provide documents it obtained through the process of its appraisal process and environmental process, and if that appraisal is found to be lower than the current tax assessment, it will be allowed to be presented as evidence to the zoning board for appeals. There's more. It's in your packets. I hope you do the right thing when you go in closed session. Y'all have one judge to answer to when we pass from this world. Think about it.
It's been a while. How you guys doing? So, I'm here once again because we have a DDA board member that decides he doesn't want to attend meetings unless it benefits him. Mr. Schreipers, or however you pronounce the name, has missed 3 consecutive DDA meetings since October 22nd, 2025. Earlier this year, he also missed multiple consecutive meetings from February 26th to August 27th. I filed a formal complaint in September 2025 regarding that pattern. No corrective action was taken. In fact, it was quite frankly swept under the rug by many of you. We're now seeing the same issue repeat itself. This isn't about one person missing a meeting or one missed meeting. It's about a documented pattern of absence from a public body that requires consistent participation to function properly. Under Michigan law, a DDA member may be removed for cause by the Township Board for repeated non-attendance, and that can constitute neglect to duty. Board member carries fiduciary responsibility. Whether a member repeatedly failed to attend meetings, it affects quorum stability, continuity, and public confidence. Whether Mr. Schreipers is present tonight or not, which it's apparent he's not, the attendance record speaks for itself. I'm requesting that this board, once again, formally review the attendance record and determine whether this repeated pattern meets statutory standard for removal for cause. If prior complaints are ignored and patterns continue, it signals that accountability mechanisms are not functioning. And the public deserves consistent standards, not ones that just certain people want to keep people on a board for. Thanks.
Justice. Evening. My name is Dean Rockwell. I reside at 8178 Fawn Meadow Trail. I am the commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, 6252, your neighbors across the street. So I just wanted to say I appreciate your efforts. I saw the salon, I think it's called Mainstream and others, moving into there, even though we're not a business, we're, a 501c, but I appreciate many of your efforts as trying to, get more business here in this quad area. We're in the process of updating our post as well inside and later out. So I just want to invite you guys as business owners and neighbors. This Friday, we'll be doing a reopening at 5:30. We'd love to have you as guests for any, as well as the people here as community members. We don't have a special permit, so a member has to purchase alcohol, but we're going to do karaoke and some other things. So I just wanted to say thank you for your efforts in this small areas, your neighbors, as we're trying to also bring in traffic. But come and be our guest this Friday. If your schedules permit, we'd like to host you and show you what we've done on the inside. And then later on, we'll work on that area of beautification on the outside. Thanks a lot.
Any other citizen comment? Being that there isn't, we'll move on to item number 5, which is our DDA budget. Steve, if you'll just briefly review the revenue expenditure for February of 2026, and then we'll look for a motion to accept the report.
Sure will. I'm going to go right to the revenue expenditure report. And if you look at the microphone, please. Pardon me?
Microphone.
Your microphone.
I'm sorry. If you go to the third column on the screen or on the report, you can see that the only expenditures were for staff salary, and then one item under education and training, and that was for covering a conference in March, which you approved to MDA.
I'll make a motion to accept the February 2026 revenue expenditure monthly report as submitted. Do I have a second? Larry, second?
Larry, second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. I believe there's no old business, Steve?
No old business,
Then
and we could go right to the committee.
Okay, we'll go right to
updates and-
7A, which is the maintenance contract.
Yep.
So shall I just start?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to.
So last evening, the beautification committee met with the 3 applicants that responded with a proposal for our gateways and our flower pots. And we wanted to clarify, if there was any questions and have them, all three of them hear what the other was saying so that everybody is on the same page with that. We had MoCo, Landscape Plus, and CD Lawn. I see there are a couple in the audience. We basically clarified, we discussed that the gateways may not need to be watered twice a week, but maybe once a week. And would it be possible to have the flower pots watered more often than 3 times? Because even last summer we had a lot of heat. So we did discuss that with them. We also discussed, I'm trying to remember we wanted to clarify
Watering, type of watering
the type of
for
watering,
each
and that if we,
category.
But we figured that they are all very professional people, so they did understand that, and we kind of went over what we had responses from last year regarding the overgrowth on some of the pots, and that we would look for different placement and possibly even different varieties of flowers. So I think that meeting went really well. It was me, John Coates, Keith was unable to attend at the last minute, and then Steve and the 3 applicants. So that being said, you have in front of you what each of the bids came in. We have reviewed them. Steve, you did ask for an hourly rate in case we had anything above and beyond what the RFP required.
We did get rates identified, and for MoCo, it's $65 an hour per man.
Okay.
Landscape Plus was $100 per hour per person, I should say. And then CD was $70 per hour per person. So we would utilize those numbers in case we had some additional work we needed them to do on our behalf. That's really not in the contract.
For instance, if one of the pots got vandalized, we did experience that last year. The pot totally got destroyed.
Right.
Things like that. We don't anticipate a lot of that. We talked about that. All 3 of them were, don't really have any questions about that. So.
We did some reference background checking, and all came back just positive and reliable from the references we checked. And this contract would be a 3-year contract, and as you can see, the breakdown of that annual amount and then the total for the 3 years. So that's kind of where we're at. Very good, reliable local firms that applied or submitted proposals.
So we have the 3-year contract in front of us. I've had some input from both board members and from others about how are you going to afford to do this for 3 years based on your budget? And I think that's a really valid question. I've really been thinking about it, and I'm just going to throw out an idea. Hopefully we can come to eventually just making a motion and then discussing further. But I do think that it's important to go for the 3-year contract, and even talking to the applicants. And what we discovered, even when we did this 3 years ago, was it's a better investment for the contractor in the equipment to do it, have a 3-year promise rather than a 1-year. So that's why we went with the 3-year again. But as you can see, if we were to even pick the lowest bid, which is $59,250 per year, when we get to our fund balance, that's where it's going to be coming from, obviously. So I'm just kind of throwing out here, I want some more discussion, not just me, but I'm prepared to go for the 3 years, but I also think that Steve, being our DDA director, and he's paid, that we could challenge Steve to help us fundraise, because that is one of the jobs of the DDA, right? Is to fundraise in the community for beautification. And I think that's really the only way we're gonna meet this.
So this brings up what I asked y'all, okay?
Yeah.
So have we spoken to anybody about sponsoring the pots? How much does a sign cost, an election sign?
No, we haven't.
I mean, if we could get the really busy corner sponsored, say $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a couple of big, I mean, that wouldn't that, I mean, I obviously work all day long, I can't do that, but wouldn't that be something that Mr. Steve could check into, is look about getting some sponsors?
Right, and what I was thinking too, I mean, the sponsors, we have how many greenhouses in this area?
You got 36 pots.
Right.
And we probably have
something's gotta
36
happen.
greenhouses.
That's $500 a pot.
Because let's look at
Give
it
or
this way.
a little more than.
Our TIF capture is $25,000. That's not even enough to cover 1 year of any one of these contracts.
No, and that really covers Steve's salary.
So we're basically dependent on somebody else giving us money. And
Exactly.
Let's be honest, it's just not worked in the past. Why would it work now? We
I think
we
without-
haven't raised no big chunk of money for that property when we were trying to do that property. We could hardly get the $45,000 to match a $100,000 grant. How much more you think you're going to get out of people?
Well, I also think that getting these RFPs in would give us an opportunity that if we wanted to get people to invest in it, we have a dollar amount now. We know what we need to collect. And we could challenge Steve to collect that, which I think would be better use of your time, especially moving forward if we want to stick with the beautify. Or do we want to delay for a year and put that into place?
Well,
And-
my biggest question is this. I talked to a couple of business owners. They're not invested in their business because we're not invested in the town. There's a sidewalk by my house completely covered by dirt and black as night in there every night. They're not going to redo a store if people won't even walk down the road to get there.
I would agree with that.
So before we go spending $59,250 in 3 years, why don't we look at some sort of an infrastructure project that actually makes it, I mean, because let's be honest, Flowers ain't going to make people move here. They ain't going to bring a business in. But if you get sidewalks, people can move around. When I look back at your original plan for this, infrastructure was the beginning of this, right? Wasn't that what you had in there, infrastructure projects?
It was a priority.
But yet we've done, how many infrastructure projects have we done? As a DD, I've only been here a year, so I'm asking you guys.
We haven't done any, and it's because we don't really have the support of the township board.
Well,
The last 2 years, the administration has not granted us anything to work with, and so we've kind of just been working with foundations
But
that
yet
we have.
they're not granting us flower money and we're coming up with that.
Well, that's coming from the fund balance where we
Correct.
got
So why
funds
couldn't we
from the
use some of the
township board.
fund from the fund balance to do some infrastructure projects where people see us doing something other than just putting out
Yeah.
flowers? Flowers don't draw business, I'm sorry. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but if you want to increase the TIF, you ain't gonna do it with bushes.
So sidewalks and that kind of thing cost a lot of money, so you got to start out small is what we had. So we got,
$59,000
Landscape
to me
Forms
is a lot of money.
donated $30,000 worth of pots to us. We took that, and it would be a shame if we didn't utilize those.
I understand, but to me, $59,000 is a lot of money.
It is a lot of
Right,
money.
so-
That's kind of why I'm throwing this out. Larry?
So why couldn't we then, along with his idea, we could take the money that we already have and hold it back? We could sell those pots per se as an advertisement for companies here within Comstock, or even, somebody wants to help us. Approximately $750 a pot would pay, well, that would work out to about $28,000, which would be more than enough to do what we're asking to do. And we could put a plaque with their name on it, on each pot, or recognition of some sort. There's ways to, it's advertisement. We're advertising the township by beautifying it, and we can advertise them by putting a name on the pot or a list out here in the front. All these people donated to help with the flowers. There's ways to go, but there's enough companies around that we could approach for $750 a year to put the pots out there for 6 months. And that would take care of a lot of it. I mean, I know Jeffrey's got money, he can get up off of it.
The reason I thought about it is because my company sponsors things like this.
Right, and it would be easy to do.
I mean, if you don't ask, you don't know.
So how many pots do we have out there?
36 pots,
35.
correct?
35.
That's still about $750 a pot.
In my opinion, any dollar per pot is more than we got right now because we're paying for everything.
Would it be good if we just cut that in half?
Meaning,
Eliminate some of the pots?
In my opinion, 36 pots is a lot, because is that all in the DDA or is that outside of the DDA
A
area?
lot of that,
All in
right?
the DDA district.
Every bit of that?
All of those are in the DDA district. They were donated by Landscape Forums.
Yeah, I understand the cost of the pots. We have the pots, so that part
Yeah.
really doesn't matter to me who gave them to us. What matters
Well,
is going forward, what we're spending every year to put something in that pot.
I would
That's my issue.
recommend against removing any of them because
No,
we made a commitment to
again-
use these to Landscape Forums when we were given them. And
Don't we have a map of where they're at somewhere?
Yes.
yeah, they're scattered throughout the district.
But if you made a commitment to put the pots out at the very beginning, then it wasn't really that they gave them to us. They gave them to us with a condition that we put them out every year.
Yeah.
But if we decide that we don't want to put them out just 1 year,
Yeah,
or if we want to put out half of them, do we have to go ask their permission?
No.
If the answer is no, then that doesn't matter who gave us the pots. We have them now. And they've obviously been out for years, so whatever they gave them to us for, we got the goodie out of that.
Oh, for sure.
I guess I would recommend, just from staffing standpoint, we award this year, and I work on fundraising and or creating a program to address this second and third year expenditure.
So have we made a way to award 1 year, or do we need to go back to the RFP and have them requote? Because maybe they don't want to quote it at 19,000 for just 1
They
year.
may not.
Maybe a little more expensive.
They may not. I mean, we're getting probably a better quote by awarding 3 years rather than 1, so.
Like, I'm
We
not
would have
against
to
the
ask-
flowers. I want y'all to understand that. But I joined the board to bring in business in TIF and all that, not just to put out flowers every year. And right now, we're putting out flowers every year at a loss to ourselves. I mean, how long, I asked you this last time, how long are we going to keep this up?
Well, the money we got from the board, the township board, was for Beautify back in 22, 23, and 24.
How much was that in the original donation?
They were providing us $40,000 annually.
Wouldn't even cover one contract right now, right?
Well, it was
per year.
75, 75, and 90, to tell you the truth. And then the last 2 years, they haven't given us any.
So
So let's look forward and say we don't get any more.
Yeah,
for a
agreed. We
couple
have to
years.
think
So
about that.
Let's just think about that. What if we don't? We're gonna be out of money in, what, 6 years? Or less,
yeah,
considering
if
we're
we
spending
don't
more.
raise anything, you're right.
Right, but I just don't see you getting more TIF off of flowers. You gotta start
Right,
doing something else.
Right.
Something that's a physical, hey, look, the DDA board, maybe we go to a concrete company and ask them to help sponsor. We're gonna do that. I mean, maybe we start reaching out to people, but without something physical, flowers ain't gonna do it. I'm sorry, they look pretty, but they ain't gonna bring
Yeah.
people in.
Steve, when you've attended DDA meetings, and I do remember this when our previous DDA director who was on, was one of the bottom feeding things was beautification. And that's kind of why we started that way. But you're right, we've evolved into this where now we're not getting that help from the township. We don't really have any new TIF coming in. There's not really been any movement.
And it's got to be based on our strategy, and that's what we're trying to do right now, is refocus our strategy and identify 2 or 3 top projects beyond what we're doing. And you're right, Keith, 2019 downtown plan recommended streetscape and sidewalks.
That's where I would start
Yeah.
at, because that's the first thing people see. It's the first thing that's truly important to them when they walk out of their house. Can I walk down the sidewalk to the store? If the answer is no, then you can put as many flowers out as you want. People don't.
My experience has
Be
been,
honest.
most downtowns will implement what we did here with some low-cost marketing approaches, banners, flowers, those kind of things, and then move into public improvements, sidewalks, lighting, those kind of projects that
You say
really catch your eye.
low-cost projects to start with. Is that a $60,000 contract for flowers?
If
Most of it-
it's for 3 years, that's,
Yeah, I'm just a dude. I'm not a politician.
No,
You
no.
have to explain it to me,
We're
right?
not
Because that ain't low
politicians either,
cost to me, my man. That's $60,000.
we are
for
probably
flowers
one
ain't low
community
cost.
with the smallest TIF.
And
Other
I realize that
communities
our
get-
entire TIF is your salary.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but that's the
No,
truth of it.
You're right. We are a small township with a small TIF generator to start with. Most communities have gotten, donations or contributions from their general fund, from the cities or townships. So we're taking the right approach, but you're right. We
You're
need
right.
to prioritize what's next.
Well, it seems to me that your original plan priority was infrastructure, and we moved away from that to go to flowers instead of maybe considering those projects when we had more money in the bank.
Well, back then, when it was, you only had 20,000.
Yeah.
You couldn't really do much other than maybe do some design.
I'm with you, Keith.
When the planning commission was developing that, you have to have some type of plan for your DDA. You had to have something to market, and that's
Right.
what they required at the time.
Yeah, it
So
was
that's
like, I was saying the same thing. I was like, okay, let's do this kind of stuff, and it's a lot more complex than I thought, because, I'm the same reason. I'm not a politician. I'm not, I'm just a board member. So it is, and I wish it was easier, but, and I wish it was affordable for us, I should say. I almost said
Well-
cheaper, but it's not cheap.
The bottom line is we have to raise more money so
Right.
that people will invest down here and the TIF goes up. That's the ultimate.
The only way you're gonna do that is by drawing people in, and I just don't
Right.
think Flowers is gonna do it. There's gonna have to be something physical that people can see that there's an improvement happening. Granted, they see flowers every year, but what do they see in the wintertime?
That's right. And that's what we intended to talk about today, but we've tabled it till next month.
Yeah.
And I'll come back with a recommendation or some thoughts.
Well, I mean,
On that.
it seems that if we're voting on spending money for the next 3 years and we have some other idea, we might want to talk about it before we commit to spending money for 3 more years.
So we did discuss with the 3 applicants, and it is in our RFP that we do, in both sides have the option to retract from the agreement. So we did discuss that with
Is there a
the 3.
penalty involved with breaking the contract?
There's not a
Retracting?
penalty on any of the 3 that we discussed with.
There's no contract yet, though, right?
Right,
No,
they're, on their RFP, they would state if they did.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to bring this is the exact discussion that we wanted to have, because even John and I and Steve talked for about 20 minutes after the applicants left, and we're like, there's a lot of different directions we can take this, and we need the board to kind of come up with a consensus of what you think.
Well, I asked, as I was asked to ask a business owner that if she wanted to invest, and her answer was flat ass no, and that's because that she's seen nothing but flowers, and flowers don't draw business. If you want people to be on foot, you gotta have good sidewalks. You want people to walk around and enjoy town, they gotta have lighting, they gotta have sidewalks, they gotta have things they need. The flowers are great if you're driving by, but again, in the wintertime, what do they get? Nothing.
Any other, Mr. Gisler, do you have any comments? Since you've talked about Vicksburg before and you've kind of seen that, make sure you turn your microphone on.
I will tell you this, Vicksburg has the blessing of an extremely wealthy guy who's putting big bucks into it. So it really.
It's a different animal.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
When a longtime resident who grew up there, went to high school and whatever, then made his fortune in the West Coast and came back and said, I'll put $60 million on the table to make this whole thing happen. A lot of things happen. So it's really not relevant.
Situation, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah, they've
how
had,
they spent the money may have some application to how we look at
There you
things.
go.
But I mean, you're talking totally different budgets.
yeah, they've had investment going on for years, but it's really snowballing now. It's spinning off right now, and I don't know what their
I
TIF
will
is,
be
but
honest, one of the main reasons I got on the board was to figure out how we were doing this corner. Right, because, I mean, let's be honest, that's a $500,000 project on the corner. Right, so we were already looking at doing all of this, but how were we ever? Maybe y'all knew, we discussed it before I joined, how we were going to pay for that. And I see this project the exact same way. It's a huge amount of money that we don't have coming in that we're fixing to agree to spend. And we don't have a plan to make more money come in. I mean, yes, you say that the township gives us some money, but if they don't, they don't. There's nothing we can
Right,
do
like
about
you
that.
said, we should just plan on not.
In all honesty, you can't plan on money you ain't got in your pocket. And if they ain't give it to us in 2 years, maybe they don't give it to us again this year, we need to budget accordingly. That's just my opinion. I could be totally off here. I warned you all about this from the start. I'm not that guy, but I can look at numbers and I see that if we continue this, there will be no money in the budget, and it won't take much longer. And you can't, at this rate, you're not going to be able to do an infrastructure project in 3 years because you're fixing to hit it again for another $60,000 to pay for this. So every time we renew this
Yeah, and on top of
contract
this,
for
we have to
3
pay for the
years.
flowers too.
So every time we renew this for contract for 3 years, we get farther away from any sort of infrastructure project. That's where I see.
Right. Well, whatever we do, we have to fundraise and we have to raise some funds.
Yeah, man, I mean, I totally agree with you there, right? But if TIF is how we finance this board, then that's what we should look for, right? A way to increase the TIF, because donations are great, but you ain't gonna get $50 from everybody every week just to pay for stuff.
Infrastructure is not going to increase our TIF, but it will incentivize private investment, as you're saying.
That is what I'm saying. If you want people to come in here and put businesses and bring in more money to the TIF, they want to see hard improvements, not just flowers on the side of the road.
So are we gonna vote on this, or what we gonna do with it?
I told y'all I had questions. I just.
No, these are good questions. We all think the same thing. I think this is more a question for Ben and John, right? I mean, how much of that is the township board's responsibility? You know, like.
Well, that's where the money
sidewalks
comes
and-
from ultimately.
I mean, like, but is that something we would even coordinate at all? Even if, let's just say someone gave us $1 million and we said, all right, let's start fixing sidewalks and putting up, all sorts of different stuff. Would we even do that? Or would we say, oh, hey, guys, here's the money, you do it? Like,
I think we should get
what I mean?
involved.
How do we figure that
Our
out?
name and our DDA board associated with that. if
Yeah,
nothing
of course. But who do we talk to?
Right.
That's, because you're right. So, all right, so you guys, what do we do?
We have to go back to the township board and ask for capital improvement dollars if it's available.
If it's available, and then we
If
come
we
up
were
with a
given
plan.
money though for.
And who comes up with that
handicap
plan? That's the other-
Improvements, what he's saying, if we already had the money, we want to put brand new sidewalks down here along the park, around the corner and down to Gills and out as far as, well, we got bicycle path going out that way, but it's only on one side of the road. So there should be sidewalks at least to the post office, if not out to the point. And I think that's kind of what he's
Well,
saying.
before we get to that, who do we talk to?
If
even
we
on the
are
plan?
given money by the township board, or if we raise it, it goes into our budget and we control how
Who
it's
makes the
spent.
contract to get it done?
That's what I'm saying, like, okay, we
Or they do.
yeah, that's the thing. So who do we talk, so do we start talking to contractors? I mean,
We have to go to the road
we have to ask
commission.
them?
Wouldn't we already have figured this out if we were gonna buy a corner of a lot and spend $500,000 to invest? Wouldn't we
That
know
was
who we
part of
need
the
to talk
strategy.
to?
That
Because
was
you gotta
part of
put
the
in
strategy.
sidewalks.
That whole thing fell apart.
But I'm saying,
Madam
wouldn't you
Chair.
already know who you need
Okay,
to talk
hold
to
on.
at that point?
Yeah.
Keith, okay,
Yeah.
Ben?
I believe if we were to have the money and we were to, likely you would probably talk to the road commission, look at the right of way. But if we were to have the money, not somebody give us the money, I don't know anybody that would say, I would believe that you can't spend the money. I think it would be harder for them to tell us that they would give us the money versus that if
Oh,
we
yeah,
had
of
the money
course.
to improve.
Yeah.
So I think if you were working within the road right away and had proper permitting to put the infrastructure, I don't know that that would be frowned upon as negative.
But we don't have the money, so let's just go back to
So,
that.
I'm still talking.
point is-
I'm
And the
still,
attorney-
I'm
Okay, hold
still
on, hold on.
talking.
Hold on,
attorney
yeah.
is
Keep going, Ben.
And so at the township board, currently we're working on CIP planning for outdoor warning sirens, which would be linked, in my opinion, to public safety. And that is hard to do right now as well. So I don't foreseeable with that. And then the talk of election equipment, mandatory election equipment. And then the planning commission's talking about the master plan. I don't readily available see funds being distributed,
Okay.
but I'm just one of 7
Right.
from my observation. Attorney Thal?
Yeah, so if you did have say a sidewalk project, that would have to go through the township because it's the township's infrastructure when it comes down to it. You're in the public rights of way. The sidewalk is something that the township's actually liable for. So, some townships don't want them, some townships encourage them because there's potential liability from trip and fall and things of that sort. And so it would just have to be coordinated with the township. But typically, if you have the funds for it, most townships are going to be fine with that because, as you said, it does encourage development in your downtown area if you have, proper infrastructure like sidewalks. But still, it would have to be coordinated with the township in terms of construction, how they're constructed. All those things would have to be coordinated with the township and potentially their engineer.
Right.
Typically, it is brought and identified in your strategic plan or your TIF plan, and if it's at the top of the list, streetscape improvements, then you can raise money, get money donated, spend the money you have, and you usually, try to get community support, and then you start engineering and design so you have a better idea how much this is going to cost. And then you, once you know that price tag, you go out and raise money. DDAs can bond if you want, if you have a resource to pay it off.
I was gonna say, so kind of circling back, because I kind of want to get back to the our actual thing, our 7A, is exactly what you said, Steve, is we need to figure out how to fundraise for it, which Keith, you had that great idea. So I'm kind of looking, let's get a motion on the floor and then we'll go ahead and.
One question?
Yeah.
That idea was essentially, Keith was sponsor a pop?
Sponsor a pop?
Is that what?
Yeah.
Has that idea ever been circulated?
We've talked about it in the past, yes.
Neat.
I think we need to, if
Why didn't it
we
move
really are serious about this amount of money, though, that something along that line, even if we get half, like you said, half of what, then it puts it'll ease on our burden. But the more that we can get, if we can get $500 a pop, put a small sign that's probably going to cost us $100 to put on it.
I just don't think our contractors are going to wait for us to fundraise.
Exactly. So
But if we can get it, then we can replace monies that we are going to.
Yeah, we could do that one,
spend.
sure.
for sure.
But
So we could award
get
the
out-
first year and
get
fundraise
out,
this
get the
year.
streets.
But I do have a question, to be fair. I don't know that our contractors would appreciate us to approve a contract in hopes that we're going to fundraise.
I would agree
right?
with that.
Right.
So, and then I personally wouldn't feel like I signed a 3-year contract if especially you had to buy pumps and tanks and equipment, if there was a easy breakaway out of that.
Yes.
Because
I would
then
agree.
if we did, have a sudden expenditure and we broke that commitment, I don't feel right about that.
I would agree with that.
I don't.
That's why.
Is it really a 3-year contract if either party could just
Just drop it, right?
part ways? So,
Why don't we just go ahead and put a motion, anybody want to offer one, and we'll, at least then we can have further discussion more on that, focus on that motion?
I'll make a motion that we table it at this time, but we look into avenues of which we may be able to fund it through the township, through our board by fundraising, and if that's a possibility.
Okay.
Because, no,
Yep.
I'll just
So,
stop there.
yep, great. We have a motion on the floor. Now we can discuss it.
Well, do you have a second?
We have to, second, yes. Where do we, second?
Second that motion.
Second?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion with support. And then we can have discussion.
Has discussion started?
Discussion is started.
Okay, I'm writing a note right now to Kevin Catlin, the administrator of the county. He sometimes is really responsive. He's always up, he's always working. And one thing that we talked about at the last county meeting was the ARPA money that has to be spent by the end of the year, period. And there are still several places where a fair amount of money, the contractors or the people that have that awarded to them but now have to spend it are saying, oh yeah, we're gonna spend it, no sweat. We were gonna start getting, I think, a monthly report on, well, how far are you along in spending it. We don't want to wind up at Thanksgiving time and have people show up and say, oh, sorry, we couldn't do it, because then it goes back to the feds.
Right, yeah.
And we don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna try to find out from Kevin, if I can't get it now, I'll get it to, Steve ASAP, what the total amount of that is. It's significant.
And these strategies to fundraise are going to take time.
Yep.
And if
So
you're
we have a
going to
motion
want to
on.
hold,
Yep, we have a motion.
on
Just
the
a second.
award.
Yeah, we have a motion. Any other board members have any input? Though, I have one comment, is that our contractors need to know this now, or we're gonna not get on their schedule.
Madam Chair?
If you don't find out that, I'm going back to this ARPA money, if that doesn't become available until Halloween,
Yeah.
you can't make a sidewalk, I don't think, that fast. I mean, it takes
Right.
some engineering and then
Yep.
some actual physical work. So you need to find things, if you're in a position to spend some of this unspent ARPA money, you gotta move it fast.
Yeah, and that's-
That means you're making up for the people that are sitting there saying, oh yeah, we're gonna spend it, oh yeah, we're gonna spend it, and then don't. I'd hate to see money left on the table.
Sure.
So you say that could be used for the flower pots?
No.
Sidewalk? No.
Can't use ARPA money for flowers.
Sidewalk?
That'd be,
Yeah,
you're
It would be for
fully familiar with-
infrastructure.
You know more about what you can and can't do with ARPA money than I do.
Are there any other kind of grants or?
There's lots of grants, it's just
That would.
the time to apply and timing to
okay.
talk
just-
to them.
Yep, so, yeah, so we have a motion on the floor with the second. So Ben, did you have another comment?
Yeah, just to be cognizant of the contractors loading up their schedules. If it's not gonna be us, they're likely gonna, tie up their time elsewhere. Would it be possible for us to have a workshop DDA meeting to where we can just chat back and forth and talk? And it appears to me a little bit, and I believe we talked about it last time, is picking a strategy. And maybe instead of, if we're at the point where there's a motion, there's a second, and depending on how this vote goes.
Right.
If we don't select a contractor based upon spending this kind of money and flowers, potentially this money doesn't have to be spent on flowers, if that's what I'm hearing. Maybe we have a workshop and we talk about, well, what if our strategy lands first on beautification, then, and it seems like flowers would be the most appropriate. But I think we need to pick a strategy to kind of, maybe that we're kind of circling back from, as our last conversation at the board, pick to what we really want to do or pick the projects that we want to work on.
Makes sense.
I just think it would be respectful if these guys took the time to put the bids in, that we maybe go out of our way a little bit to at least go one step further to have more conversation and show good faith to come to some sort of consensus. Unless this vote fails and then we're on to a new motion, but that's just an idea.
Yeah, Larry?
Well, I guess I would think that by our next board meeting, we should have some kind of answer in hand. We should know whether we're gonna be able to do this or not. If so, what possibilities? I mean, I agree that we don't really have the money. We're not gonna see the money unless the township gets up off of it. And they've got enough projects right now that they seem to be fairly tight. Is that correct?
Sounds like it.
So
Okay.
I think we need to figure out a strategy to develop our own income.
So,
That's what I'm thinking. So
can you
anybody?
clarify the motion then?
Yeah, so we're gonna.
For me?
We'll clarify the motion. Anybody else have any other comments? If not, so Larry, would you just clarify your motion?
Suppose, the motion would be to table this until our next meeting so that we can see how we think we're gonna be able to pay for that. And then-
Just to be clear, the first year is in our budget right now. If you wanted
all
to do
this
first
money
year,
is in our budget, right?
the first year,
The first-
21,
So
whatever the lowest amount is,
2 years coming.
20,000. Yeah, that's the bigger
That's
question.
the question.
If you don't want to spend it for the next few years, that's fine, but we could do it this year. We have to work with the with the applicants.
Them to do a one-year contract.
No, but you've decided, and we have to just tell them, are you willing to work with us this first year? And then we'll let you know what we're doing 2 years down the road. It would be a one-year contract, not a 3.
Okay, Steve, yep, Ben?
Did we publicly advertise that it was a 3-year contract and
Yes.
posting?
We did, so you kind of got to
I think
stick
we
to
need
that.
to back the bus up. If we're gonna change the format, we need to roll the format out that way. Like if I were to come bid for a 3-year project and then buy pumps, infrastructure, different, not infrastructure, but assets to do the job, or allocate my time accordingly, I think you would likely see bids, if it were an annual bid, they would come in a little bit higher, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I just think
That's what we said.
if we would change it, we would need to
Yeah.
transparently do that.
Yeah, we just have to communicate with those bidders, and if you want to rebid it for the full 3 years or 2 years,
So I'll have Larry, just now that we've kind of heard more discussion, just officially tell us your motion.
My motion is table this to our next meeting so we can talk about where the next 2 years funding is gonna come from and how we're gonna do it.
Okay.
We need.
And then who is the?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. So you're saying that you want to table issuing the awarding the contract tonight until our next meeting in March?
Yeah.
And in the meantime,
We need to sit down and discuss how this is gonna happen.
When does this contract start? When did they actually put boots on the ground?
well, they normally started in May. And it's
Making sure that we weren't pushing too close.
well, and we could.
Just a note,
obviously-
sorry,
Go-
microphones, guys.
Oh, sorry.
One thing with that, they could easily pull out, and we might just end up with one.
Yeah, but they could easily
Or
pull
no.
out anyway. Y'all made it in the contract where they
Correct.
could pull
Yeah.
out for any reason. So
Correct.
that's kind of.
I'm just saying-
I get you, but I'm just saying
yeah.
if they decided tomorrow, even if we agreed to say,
Okay.
yeah, we wanted them and tomorrow we didn't.
So does everyone understand the motion? And you still second it, Jeffrey? Okay, then I'm going to take a roll call vote. So the motion is to table. So Commissioner Gissler?
I'm sorry, I'm still writing our administrator.
Sorry to pick you
He's
first.
getting this buddy hold
We're
on
going
a
to
minute.
table it. The motion is to table it.
Well, I vote to table then.
So you say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Member Welcher?
Yes.
Member Rabbit?
Yes.
Treasurer Evan Kowalski?
Yes.
Township Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So it is tabled until our next meeting.
And I will advise or communicate with the applicants or the bidders.
Okay. All right, then the next item is our closed session. So I believe I need to have somebody make a motion to go in closed session?
Let me just offer up.
Okay. Yes.
So the motion would be to go into closed session under the Open Meetings Act, under section 15.268, parent 1, parent A, to hear complaints, or to hear a complaint against an employee of the DDA.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Yes?
That needs to be a roll call, I'm told.
Yes.
Is that
roll
right,
call.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Can we have discussion?
yes.
Attorney Thal, if there's after session, if we want to have discussion, any action, does that need to be included in the motion?
You can amend the agenda after you come out if you want to take further action.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good question. All right. Member Rabbit?
Yes.
Member Wiltshire?
Yes.
Commissioner Gissler?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Treasurer Kowalski?
Yes.
Vice Chair Townsend?
Yes.
Chair Sandra Ketchy? Yes. All right. Do I have to say anything different?
Yeah, a motion, this week, we're looking for a motion in executive session.
Okay. I've never done one.
Do I need to make a motion to us to
Yeah.
resume?
Yeah, she'll,
We need a motion
I'm just waiting for Larry
and a voice vote to
Schmidt.
return. Close, right.
I make a motion that we end the closed
Turn
session.
on your thing.
Michael.
There you go. Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion that we end the closed session.
Second.
Motion with a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We had to take a roll vote to go in. Do we need one to go out?
No,
Okay.
it just says to go in.
So y'all, we're ready to make this motion?
Yes.
Yep.
I make a motion to move that the board takes the complaint under review, brings its findings to the next board meeting, allowing Mr. Kiernan or Mr. Tim time to provide any reference to evidence in his complaint by March 11th, allowing us 14 days to review before our next meeting. Drop this off at the Township office in care of the DDA board chair, and that is Miss Sandra.
I'll second that. Everybody understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The last, or number 9, board member comments.
We had enough of those.
I think we've had enough of those. A motion to adjourn, please.
Just speaking for myself, I'm sorry.
looking for a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Should we, are we
We
supposed?
don't normally have one at the end?
No, we did that in the more.
Well, I believe we're adjourned, but, right?
Yeah. But-
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you're not.
Thinking about what you were talking about, and I was thinking, you know, we are the betting capital of the world.
That's what I mean.
So I think that what you ought to do is you ought to make a committee of about 3 people. You go to all the greenhouses and the people and say, okay, first of all, we're looking for donations, and the second thing we're looking for is ideas. What would you like to see us do? That's what I would.
I mean, that was the whole basis of what we did, why we did our logo the way we did it.
The flower pot, you're talking the flower pots and the like? Is that what you're saying, Jerry?
Pardon me?
The flower pots and the like?
I mean, there's only 2
Or, yeah.
greenhouses in this 10 acre, or 10 mile radius.
I don't know.
I'll dominate $500
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
There we go.
This is my pot. Build it like this.
You two take care.
I want them funny looking leaves.